When you look at a stock chart, what do you see? For a lot of people, it's just chaos, right? A jumble of lines going up and down. But what if I told you that hidden inside that chaos, there's a rhythm, a predictable order to all that madness? Well, today we're diving deep into the world of market cycles to see if we can find that beat. And that's really the big question, isn't it? When we see prices zigzagging all over the place, it is so easy to just throw your hands up and say it's completely unpredictable. But what if there are underlying patterns that we can actually identify and maybe even measure? Okay, but before we get too carried away, let's hit pause for a quick reality check. The research is pretty clear on this. Markets are only really in a cyclical state, that is, a state where the patterns are clear enough to trade, about 15 to 30% of the time. So the real skill isn't just about spotting a cycle, it's about knowing when the conditions are even right to start looking for one. All right, so to make sure we're all on the same page, let's get really clear on what we mean by a cycle. It's nothing fancy. It's simply a sequence of events that repeats itself. In the market, we see it as a price that starts low, rises up to a peak, and then falls back down to the low, all over a repeating period of time. Simple as that. So, the way economists see it, any price move is really a mix of four key ingredients. You've got the long-term trend, you've got seasonal factors, you've got random noise, and then you have that fourth piece, the non-seasonal cycle. That's the one we're going to zero in on today. Now, what's really fascinating is that this hunt for rhythm, it's not a new thing at all. It's actually this ancient human obsession, and it connects fields you would never ever dream of putting together, all the way from the harmony of music to the chaos of the financial markets. I mean, check out this intellectual journey. It's pretty wild. It all starts way back with Pythagoras finding mathematical harmony in music. Then, centuries later, Sir Isaac Newton gives us the scientific basis for this with his work on the light spectrum. Then, Joseph Fourier gives us the mathematical language, the idea that anything can be described with waves. And it all leads up to 1975, when John Burg develops a tool called MESA, which finally lets us apply all this thinking to the short, messy data of the stock market. Here's a great way to think about it. If you pluck a guitar string, it doesn't just flop around randomly, does it? No, it vibrates in this predictable harmonic way. You can hear the cycle. The theory is that the market, when it gets plucked by a big news event or a shock to the system, does the exact same thing. It responds with cycles, even if they're a lot harder to see. Okay, so how in the world do we square that idea of a predictable harmonic motion with the day-to-day randomness we see in the market? Well, that brings us to the super interesting concept from physics called the Drunkard's walk. And this right here is the theoretical puzzle we've got to solve. I mean, if you've got millions of traders all acting on their own, kind of randomly, how could any sort of predictable pattern possibly pop up, even for a little while? It all comes down to a tiny, tiny change in the rules of randomness, and believe me, it makes a world of difference. In a classic random walk, the question at every step is, should I go left or right? It's pure randomness, like a puff of smoke expanding. But in something called the Telegrapher's equation, the question is totally different. It's, should I change the direction I'm already going? And that right there, that's the secret sauce. It's momentum. See, by making the random decision about changing direction instead of just picking a direction, the system suddenly has a kind of memory. It tends to keep going the way it was already going, at least for a little while, before the next random event tells it to change course. And this leads to what is, honestly, the perfect analogy: a meandering river. If you're on a boat, you can predict the next bend in the river pretty well, right? But if you try to map the entire 1,000-mile course of that river from space, it looks completely random. The market is just like that. It has these short-term, predictable meanders, the cycles, within a much larger, totally unpredictable path. All right, so the theory is beautiful, isn't it? It's elegant, it just makes sense. But if it were that easy, we'd all be rich. So what's the catch? What makes trading these cycles so incredibly difficult in the real world? Well, it really comes down to three huge roadblocks. First, that clean cycle signal we're looking for can get totally drowned out by all the daily market noise. Second, a really powerful trend can just run you over, cycle or not. And third, sometimes the market just gets stubborn and refuses to cycle at all. And this brings us to what might just be the single most important skill of all. It's not about knowing when to trade, it's about knowing when not to trade.
It's about recognizing when the market conditions are just too hostile for cycle analysis to even have a chance.
So let's break down that first challenge, signal versus noise. Think of this signal as that smooth, predictable wave of the cycle we're trying to measure. But the noise? Well, that's the chaotic, messy up and down of prices every single day. And if that noise gets too loud, it can completely hide the signal you're trying to trade on.
So here's a really practical rule of thumb to go by. If your cycle signal is the same strength as the daily noise, that's a 0 decibel ratio. You are basically just gambling. To even have a fighting chance, you need that signal to be at least twice as strong as the noise, a 6 decibel ratio. Anything less than that, and you're probably going to get washed out.
Okay, next up is the big one, the trend. You might have a perfectly measured cycle that's telling you it's time to sell short, to bet on the price going down. But if you try to do that in the middle of a massive bull market, that powerful upward trend is just going to steamroll your trade, turning what looked like a smart move into a painful loss. And hey, there's even a pretty specific mathematical rule for this. If the upward push from the trend over a single cycle is stronger than the cycle's entire up and down move, it's swamping it. The bottom line, don't fight that trend, just stay out. And the last big challenge is something called trend persistence. You see, a healthy working cycle should cross back and forth over its own trend line pretty regularly. But if the price gets stuck on one side, let's say it stays above the trend for a whole cycle period or more, that's a huge red flag. It's telling you this cycle has lost its power and the trend is now the one in charge. So at the end of the day, what does this all boil down to? Recognition. The math and the computers can find the cycle for you, but the human skill is in recognizing the conditions where that cycle is actually tradable, and then having the discipline to act, or maybe more importantly, not act based on that. And maybe that's the real lesson here, isn't it? The true skill isn't just about measuring the wave. It's about knowing when the ocean is calm enough for you to even see the wave in the first place. That's why those clear, tradable cycles only show up 15 to 30% of the time. The rest of the time, it's just choppy water. The real question is, can you tell the difference?